I'm here at Leaky Finders in Devon to talk about this boiler, the boiler of Standard Class 4260 number 76077. This is boiler number 1052, which was built at Darlington in 1952, and it was first fitted to sister locomotive number 76007, which was turned out for Horwich Works in January 1953. In 1958, the boiler came off 76007 and was fitted to 76012 at Eastleigh Works, and it continued then until 1964, when 76077 was sent to Eastleigh for its one and only major general overhaul, and that's when this boiler was fitted to 76077. Of interest, 76077's original boiler was built at Swindon, one of just 10 built there, and when that came off it was fitted to 76079, which is the sister locomotive which is currently on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. So Chris, tell me what happened to the boiler after the engine was bought by Chris Hinton.
The locomotive was arrived on the Gloucestershire-Warwickshire Railway in 1987, and after a couple of years it was dismantled and stored on wagons in the North Headshunt out in the open air, and there it stayed for many years until the Toddington Standard Locomotive Group was formed in 2018.
The locomotive went off to Loughborough, of course. Can you tell us what happened to the boiler?
The boiler was put out to tender, and Leaky Finders were awarded the boiler work.
Okay, Peter, you were the boiler inspector who first inspected this boiler back in 1921. What did that first inspection show?
The first inspection was actually really good. On the face of it, the boiler was in good order. The thicknesses of the plate work were good. A few areas were identified that needed some remedial work from the outside, but everything on the face of it looked really good. She was a good prospect for rebuild.
But of course, when it came here, one of the first tasks was to do the non-destructive testing.
Yes, it always is nowadays with the problems we're getting with the boilers and what we're finding inside them. The next step after an initial look is an NDT, which gives us a more in-depth view into what's going on in the material itself.
And what did that NDT show?
It showed that this boiler, unfortunately, when it was built, had a lot of inbuilt flaws into the material itself. There was a lot of inclusions, laminations within the actual platework itself from manufacture.
And can you explain what a lamination is?
Basically, the laminations and inclusions are dirt or foreign material within the plate when it's formed. So when the plate's formed and goes through the rolling mill, you can get bits and pieces inside which can cause the plate not to fuse completely all the way through. It's something that wasn't detectable at the time so much, but nowadays with modern methods, modern techniques, we can find these a lot easier.
This obviously hasn't been a problem for this locomotive. This boiler's done 15 years service.
Oh no, definitely. It's certainly not a problem within service. The laminations aren't detracting from the strength of the material, but what it does give us is possibly a problem with repair. When we're trying to weld, the dirt within the material can actually come up through and affect the weld area.
And that's why this piece of the side plates have been removed here.
Yes, they've cut the side plates back to gain access again to check the throat plate where there were possible areas that the NDT, because of the laminations, couldn't pick up the defects deeper down in the material. So we've had to do it visually, and when the plate work's been cut away, visually we've been able to see the cracking and that's gone on internally of the boiler.
And where this has been cut, the laminations, there are fewer laminations.
Yes, as they've cut down through the material at this level, there's a lot less problems within it than there was sort of nearer to the foundation ring.
with these laminations and the results of the non-destructive testing, this all seems like bad news. Is there any good news?
Is there any good news? Well, yes. Doing all this work now, we're talking about now, hopefully will give us a longevity of the boiler. Yeah. So rather than looking for a 10-year repair, we're now looking at a longer term, sort of 20-year repair.
So this means that when the boiler reaches the end of its first 10 years in operation,
Yeah.
the engine can be turned around quickly?
That is the plan. I mean, you never say there's not going to be issues, because boilers have a habit of finding problems. But in theory, this additional work that we're going to do onto it now, we're future-proofing the boiler for another 10-year ticket.
So in terms of the investment that's been put in now,
Yeah.
it's actually representing good value for money?
It is, because in 10 years' time, prices will rise, labour costs will go up, material costs are going to go up, so it'll cost even more to do next time round. We always knew we'd have to do this repair in the future, but originally, of course, we were hoping not to have to do it this time round. So yes, yeah, good value.
So it does mean that if somebody puts their £500 in now, they will be able to see the results, and they will know that that £500 is going to go a long way.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to go a long way, and hopefully it'll keep the locomotive working for many generations to enjoy. Obviously with the copper on the side here, so if you look at all the stay holes, they are up to almost maximum size. Also, localised areas here, the material is down to less than half an inch. It should be 5/8 of an inch, so it's actually burnt away on the fire side here. So the plan is basically to cut through from this point here all the way and replace the bottom 2'6", 3 foot of copper plate work. That will build into the longevity of going back to original size stays, and hopefully many years of service in the future.
So the boiler arrived at Leaky Finders Works at the end of November last year.
Yeah.
And what happened when it arrived?
Well, we made a start straight away on getting the front tube plate out, because we knew that was going to need to be replaced anyway. That gave us a bit of better access to see what condition the front barrel section was in, and we were sort of already half knew that was going to have to be changed, but getting the tube plate out just reaffirmed that fact that that's going to be changed as well. So all the rivets have been burnt out between the front and rear barrel section, ready to remove it. The new tube plate and barrel section have actually been made now, so we're just waiting for them to turn up.
So why are they being replaced? What has actually happened to the steel of the barrel? And
Well, you can see the wastage on the front barrel section. There's quite a lot of pits, obviously, where it's been sat around for years with no tubes in it, so the bottom half, if you like, of the barrel section was quite wasted, and it's just as much work to try and weld a half barrel section in as it is to just have a whole new one rolled and riveted in place. So that'll give you a much better repair then.
And of course that builds in longevity to the boiler.
Yes, yeah, you won't have to touch any of this for another 20-30 years at least then, apart from the tubes.
And what is the programme of work from here?
So at the minute we're waiting for all the new plate work to turn up. Obviously we've got a lot more work in the firebox to do than we'd originally thought. So we'll probably get on with changing a lot of the monol stays that showed up on the NDT as being broken or flawed. A lot of patch screw work to do in the firebox as well, whilst we wait for the new bits of plate work to turn up.
So you're going to be kept busy for a while, yeah?
Yes, yeah, there's no shortage of us getting bored.
But the state of the boiler, it's not untypical of heritage locomotives, is it?
No. It's not ideal, obviously, but we are where we are with it, and the repairs we're going to do are going to build a lot of a longer life in it, that'll obviously be much better for you guys.
And these are repairs that, as an organisation, you're well used to doing?
Yes, yeah, I mean, lots of these engines now are getting to the stage where you're having to replace so much stuff now that it's sort of becoming the norm.
So Chris, how is all this additional work being funded?
It's being funded by our loyal band of shareholders who've been absolutely magnificent in supporting the loco with component sponsorship and with shareholding, and we're very the cost, as we know, has gone up from originally estimated, and we're very lucky that one of our shareholders has agreed to contribute up to £75,000, of which will be match funded. So that means that for a limited period, that for every pound that's put in, an additional pound will be funded on top. So it could give us £150,000 additional funding.
Can you tell me when this match funding period will start and when it will end? You mentioned that it was a limited period.
The match funding will start from the Cotswold Festival Steam on the Gloucestershire-Warwickshire Railway, which is the last weekend in May, and we will run it for a period of 3 months from that date.
How important is it to find new shareholders, do you think?
It is extremely important, and that is what we need to get us to where we want to be. So the original steaming at the end of 2026 is obviously going to slip, but we hope it's not going to slip too much. But again, it's all dependent on funding.